Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with another episode of SoundJack's Rambles. And today I'm joined by Alyssa.
Hi.
And today we are talking about Miraculous Ladybug Season 2.
It's finally finished. It only took over a year for it to happen.
Woo!
Thank goodness. Oh my god, the production schedule for this series is nuts.
Yep.
And but it's out finally. If you wanna excuse me, if you would like to watch it, it's on Netflix. Both parts of the season are out now. I don't know if they've changed it to say season 2 part 2 or if it still says season 3. Season 3 is not out yet on Netflix, so don't get confused, but both those things should be out, so you can watch them there.
Yes. But anyway, yeah, Season 2, Miraculous Ladybug. It was really good.
Yeah, it was better. Was it better? Do you think it was better than season 1?
I mean, there's a lot more stuff I liked in Season 2, so.
Okay, yeah, it was.
Because
it was
so much lore.
There was a lot of lore. Yeah, so this happened. So yeah, it's a thing. Also, if you're curious, typically we tend to put out these videos 2 months after they've aired on Netflix, just to give people enough time to watch everything. However, because
Season 3 is starting to air.
Season 3 the first episodes of Season 3 has already aired. Like, it is out already in some other countries. It's not in the US, but it's out in other countries. And Season 2 aired in France. Season 2. Episode 2 already aired in France as well.
And she wants to watch them.
I do. And also, we already have confirmation of a couple episodes that have come out for Season 3. So, because of that, we decided it would be a little bit more reasonable to talk about Miraculous Ladybug a little sooner.
Yes.
Just because the schedule is so weird and I don't like it.
Yes.
I mean, I know that it's not really in Zagtoon's control for the most part, but
yes,
it's a little upsetting. Anyway. So I guess what we'll start out talking. Oh, by the way, this is going to be full of spoilers.
Spoilers because we've talked about season 1 and how we got introduced to all that jazz.
Yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled by anything, I highly recommend you go and watch it on Netflix. It's already out there, so
yep.
Yeah, feel free to watch it from there.
So, where do you want to start?
Well, I think it would be a good place to start talking about maybe some of the. I mean, where do you think? I'm thinking like we could talk about like some of the episodes just kind of haphazardly, the ones we liked.
Yes.
I don't know if we should talk about every episode. In the detail, because there's 26 of them, 25. It's like an average. It's like a regular TV series. So
I just need to go through because some of these we watched a long time ago.
Yeah, the first episodes premiered in December of last year.
Of 2017.
Excuse me, and now if the season finale happened. In the middle of June, like in like a couple months ago. So
yes,
yeah.
But yeah. So, you get started.
Okay, so I think the first episode that I want to talk about is actually the first episode of the season. Well, okay, so technically the first episode of the season is the Christmas special, but I kind of don't want to talk about that. I don't think it's very relevant to what we're talking about. Basically, all you really need to know about it is it's Santa gets akumatized, and there's some...
Wait, actual Santa?
No, I don't think it's actual Santa. It could be actual Santa, but, like, it's just a Santa. A Santa gets akumatized, and he makes Christmas, And then, there's a little stuff about Adrian and his dad. That's basically all. You can skip the Christmas. I don't like the Christmas episode. I'm just gonna put it out there. To me, it's one of the weaker episodes of the season. Mostly because I feel like it was kind of rushed. And they tried to make it like a musical, but like they did not stick the landing. So like the songs I feel like did not translate well into English too.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of the problems when you're translating songs into a different language. But yeah I'm just not really a good.
No, yeah.
I didn't like it very much. So I know you didn't see it, but I feel like very comfortable saying we can just skip it. Nothing really of consequence happens in that episode, and like I said, the only thing that value is just Adrian and his relationship with his parents. But I feel like you get more of that in season 2 anyway, so
yes,
it's not a big deal. Anyway, the real first episode of season 2, like the actual preseason premiere, is The Collector, and it's the episode where we actually find out who Hawkmoth is. Drum roll! It was Gabriel Agreste! Who could have thought? What a shocking reveal!
Yes.
Oh, who didn't? I'm just okay. So, like I said, I think I said the first time when we were talking about the series is that I really wanted. I wanted them to confirm that Gabriel Agreste was Hawkmoth, and that was my big theory. And I feel like it doesn't really. A lot of things wouldn't have made sense if it wasn't Gabriel Agreste, and I know a lot of people were theorizing that it wasn't, even though like all signs were pointing towards it. And now they finally did it. Finally had it confirmed that Gabriel Agreste is indeed Hawkmoth, and the episode revolves around him as basically he akumatizes himself in order to try and get people sent off of him, because the last season there was that book about all the miraculous, like the grimoire, I think is what they call it in the show.
Yeah.
And it was like the mysterious book that was in the safe, and Adrian found it, and then Marinette, I guess, stole it. She steals a lot of things in the show.
Yeah.
And then we also meet the Master Fu, and he talks about stuff. And he mentions that the book is really important and has a lot of really good stuff in it. And because the book is gone, Adrian's dad, Gabriel, is kind of like, oh no, someone I think might have figured out who I am, so I need to try and cover my tracks. So he humanises himself.
Yes.
And then that episode happens, and I think it's really interesting. It was a really good way to start off the season, finally getting some progress happening. And now from the rest of the season on, pretty much all the episodes happen with the knowledge that Gabriel is the Hawkmoth. And we do have many episodes where we see sort of the villain side. Yeah.
We see this villain side, and we also see Gabriel Agreste specifically antagonizing certain people in order to cause them to become villains so that he can control.
Yeah. So it definitely gives Hawkmoth a little bit more dimensionality too, which is nice. So I really liked that episode. I thought it was a good, strong start to the season. And now I need to think about. Well, yeah. Okay, so I've mentioned an episode I really like. Let's do a little back and forth here.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about an episode that you really liked?
Trying to remember.
There were a lot of really.
Yeah.
Like.
It was. Robustus.
Robustus! Oh, that was a fun episode.
That was a fun episode. We had a robot.
We had a robot helper friend. I think of him like Clippy if he was sentient.
Wait a minute, we never saw him afterwards.
We did. There was in Siren he shows up.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I don't want to go in water or something like that.
Oh, okay.
He has a very bit role.
Okay.
As Max's little friend.
Okay.
But yeah.
I'm surprised we don't see him more, just like in the background of scenes.
No.
Darn it. He's so fun.
He's really cute helper robot who gets akumatized, and it's a first for the series. It not only establishes that humans are also capable, like non-humans are also capable of being akumatized. Yeah. Because it's based on purely emotions. And theoretically anything that has emotions is capable of being akumatized.
And then there was a giant mech fight.
Giant mech fight
referencing Street Fighter at the wazoo.
No, you're thinking of the gamer.
Oh yes, I'm right. Yeah, I got confused.
He was fighting as
because
this is a Transformers thing. I'll make a reference. He was fighting as Devastator.
Yeah,
not really.
That's why I got confused, because it was a giant robot mech that was being fought at in the football stadium.
Yes, and
it was in the same location. It was
comprised of construction.
Yes,
vehicles.
It was comprised of a bunch of construction vehicles.
And it was also the first time that we saw a akumatized victim actually go rogue and sort of
disagree with Hawkmoth.
Yeah, because he's basically like, he finds out why Hawkmoth is trying to get what he's getting. He finds out for a wish, and then Robustus is like, oh, well, I want to be human, so screw you, Hawkmoth. And then he activates Hawkmoth's defense systems with missiles, which, you know, he's got to be that extra. Yeah. And then he basically distracts Hawkmoth with the missiles while he tries to take the Miraculouses for his own. So,
yeah,
to me, that was a really cool way to change up the formula and have a character who kind of, excuse me, a character who does well.
Yeah.
Who does well, but like a character who is able to resist Hawkmoth to some extent,
yes.
Or at least he doesn't care enough about Hawkmoth's thing to really do that. So.
Yeah. Yes,
that episode's really good.
And we learned a bit more about the wish from
yes.
Master Fu.
Mm-hmm. We did.
There's a great concept. It's one of those. Oh yeah, you can wish for anything you want. Just consequences.
Yeah, it's very much a monkey's paw kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What's your next?
Oh, actually, wait. Is this the one?
Is this?
Oh yeah, Gorizilla. Gorizilla is also really a good one too. This one is focused mostly on Adrian and Gabriel's relationship. So the episode starts out with there's also this idea where so you have I'm trying to like get my thoughts together. So Gabriel starts to realize that maybe his son is actually Cat Noir. And when he gets that realization, he's like, all right, I gotta test this. So he basically kumatizes, he calls the gorilla, who's Adrian's bodyguard, and is like, yells at him, and then he kumatizes the bodyguard to then capture Adrian and then hold him hostage, because if Adrian is Cat Noir, then Cat Noir is never gonna show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll have his proof. Also, Adrian in this episode is running away to go watch a movie
that stars his mother.
And I think this is the first time we get like actual concrete discussion of his mother. We got a little bit of it in the Simon Says episode where we actually find out, his mother is missing. But this is the first time in this season, I think, where we actually get to see... We actually also learn her name, and her name is Emily.
Yeah.
We had not known her name until this point. So, yeah, Marinette and Adrian are at the theater, and that's when he's apprehended. And the reason why I like this episode a lot is because it shows a lot of how Gabriel feels about Adrian. Like, there's one scene where, towards the end of it, Gorizilla lets go of Adrian, and Adrian's falling, and he doesn't transform because he trusts Ladybug that much. And then Gabriel's like if you're like he's really nervous because his son's almost gonna fall to his death, so he's like, oh my god. And then he, at the very last moment when Adrian doesn't transform, he orders Gorizilla to let Ladybug go so that she can save him.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like a really good way of showing us that despite everything, Gabriel really does care for his son. Obviously, he's still a big butt.
Yeah.
And definitely not Father of the Year in any way. But, you know, he's not so evil that he's willing to let his son die for his goals. You know, he cares about him in his own weird way, I guess. And it was also a really interesting episode because at the very end of it, Gabriel and Adrian are sitting on the couch watching his mom's film, and that Adrian was trying to see. And then he said that, you know, I don't want to try and keep any secrets from you. And then we find out that there's a freaking like catacomb underneath the mansion. At that episode, we don't actually know what it is
but
yet.
By the end, we know it's where he's keeping his
but
wife.
We find out,
in a stasis sleep, whatever.
Yeah, she's like literally in like a coffin thing, and is just in this, I guess, a tomb. Is it a tomb? I don't know, but it's basically where he's keeping his mom. So it's like
or his wife.
It's his wife, yeah. And we do see it again in the two-parter.
The finale, yeah.
No, it's not in the finale. We see it in
the Style Queen, because there's going to be the ultimate plan.
Yeah. And so, so that's when we see what is actually in the tomb. But that was the first episode where we actually see it. And when I first saw it, I was like, what? like, why does he have this under his house? So so that was also a really good episode, and I think it really did a good job of like actually showing more of Gabriel and his emotions towards his son, and also more about his mom, which is good. We don't get too many episodes focused on Adrian, so the ones that we do get, I'm always like, yay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
So
what episode do you want to talk about?
Let's just trying to see. I'd say the next one would then be, Siren.
Yeah, Siren is a good one.
Because this is also the first one we see the special powers, right?
Yes, it is.
Because now Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir have further transformations. They can power up their Kwamis and have special forms. And the two we see in the season are a water one and an ice-based one.
Yes.
And the first one we saw was the water one that allowed them to swim and breathe underwater.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very efficiently.
Yep. Yep. And Siren is also the first episode where Adrian finds out about Master Fu, and presumably I don't think he talks to him as much as Ladybug does, but he now knows who he is, and that's the thing.
But it's also really scary because Master Fu's coming to the Agrest house to give him lessons, and Hawkmoth right freaking there.
Yes, yep. I have a feeling that at some point in the series, Hawkmoth is definitely going to either capture Master Fu or somehow get information to allow him to do the transformations as well. I'm imagining that will happen at some point because they've been hinting at it. Yeah. But that happens. And Siren, the episode itself is pretty good, I guess. Siren is an interesting Akuma. She's pretty run-of-the-mill, though, I'd say. Yeah. You know. And she's obviously based on the mythological Siren, so... Yes. Loosely. Yeah. Very loosely. She doesn't sing and then bring you to your death, so, you know. Yeah. So now, I guess me? Yeah. Okay. I think I want to talk about... I definitely want to bring up Sapites, if only because this is the first episode that we see an actual new superhero, because we got 3 new superheroes in this whole season. Yes. Sapites, we get Rena Rouge, although I don't like that pronunciation. I feel like it should be pronounced Rena Rouge, because Rena comes from Renard, who is which is the French way to say a fox. I think fox in French is Renard. Yeah. And that's because it's based on a folklore figure, Renard the Fox, who is a popular Middle Ages character. Anyway, so Rena Rouge, as I will call her, is actually Alia, and her sisters get akumatized, and because there's so many of them, Ladybug has to bring in an ally. And I forget why Adrian wasn't able to join in the battle in this episode. Oh no, he was there too, but there was just too many of them and they couldn't do it on their own, so they had to bring in an ally. And it was Alia. And it's really interesting too because they kind of address the fact that Alia is really nosy. You know, like she's a news reporter, she wants to know everything, and yet in this case she can't actually know. She has to actually lie to her friend about who she is. Yeah. I mean, even though her friend is Marinette, who already knows this, but you know, I think it's I think it's cool that they kind of addressed that too. Yes. And that one. So I did like Septies, for that, and I think Rena Rouge is a fun hero. But I hope that we see more of her because I really think there was only that one episode, and then like. The finale we saw. Well,
we saw her briefly at the.
Yes, we did see her briefly in Siren, but. Not in action, really.
Yeah.
Oh no, we did see her in action actually, because she like summoned bitches and meat or whatever.
It was just at the beginning though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then, okay, so yeah, I mentioned Sabates.
So then I'll mention Anansi.
Anansi?
Yeah, Anansi.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's where Carapace.
Yes.
Makes his appearance. And
oh my god. Nino's such a dork, and I am happy that he is a superhero.
Yes.
He's fun. His power is protection.
Yep.
And although I do have a little bit of an onion with Anansi.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty familiar with Anansi, the character, who is from Western Africa, I think. I want to say he's Western Africa mostly, but I could be wrong. But he's definitely an African, from African tradition.
Yeah.
And I have read some stories. I remember reading them when I was a kid. And he's like a trickster character.
Yeah.
And typically most of the... Sometimes he's an actual spider. Other times he's a dude who's spider-like. It depends on the story. But I guess to me the reason why my onion is that I feel like Anansi, the villain, doesn't really take all that much from Anansi, the character, the folklore character, because, like, really, Anansi was just a boxer with more than 2 arms.
Yeah.
Who also spun webs occasionally. like, honestly... When I saw the title for this episode, I was like, oh, Anansi, that's such an interesting premise. Like, they could do a lot of cool things with that, you know? Maybe have the whole thing about Ladybug and Cat Noir having to, like, wit their way out of it. And, like, yeah, I guess Ladybug does kind of taunt Anansi into her folly, but not in the same way that I was imagining it, so... I guess my question is that I don't know why they named her Anansi, other than the fact that she's referencing a spider. Yeah. Like, that's it.
Maybe the thing is maybe that story is just a lot more popular in France, and then...
I mean, it's also pretty well known in the US, too, I'd say, especially since, like, a lot of... I don't know, I mean, like... I have no idea how popular Anansi is in the cultural consciousness. I imagine, especially in Black communities. Yeah. Anansi is very well known, but like, I would say that Anansi, at least in my opinion, is probably one of the most popular folklore characters that the West, that your average American would know of from Africa. That's from Africa. Like, there's definitely lots of characters from African stories, but, like, I feel like Anansi is, like, one of the most prevalent ones. Okay. But either way, also, I don't know how I feel about Anansi being portrayed as a woman when he's historically a male character. Like, I don't know what the optics are on that. Like, I wouldn't be so concerned about it if this was a story being told by someone from, like, the Black community, right? Yeah. Like, someone who under, like, you know, like, thinking, like, if someone were to try and reimagine, I don't know, Sleeping Beauty with a male as the beauty, okay, that's fine to me. Yeah. But I don't know how if that kind of gender reversal, like, because typically when you do that kind of gender flip, it's some kind of commentary, I would imagine, or it changes the dynamic somehow. But I'm not as familiar with Anansi as I am other characters, and even though I have read plenty of Anansi stories, it's not really my big wheelhouse. So all I'll say is that as far as basing characters off of, like, traditional literature goes, it's a very tenuous connection, and part of me kind of wishes that maybe if these writers wanted to have Anansi be a character, they should just gone in and just done Anansi, like give me because Anansi's such a fun character. Like, as someone who's read some of the stories, like, there's a lot of really fun things you could do with him. So, like, I don't know, you could have him be like just like a fun like trickster dude. Like I don't know. I mean, also might be because I always have sort of a soft spot for trickster characters, but
Loki.
I'm not that much.
No. Why did I say Loki? Lotor.
Lotor. I guess he's not really a trickster though. He's deceptive, but he's not like trickster. He's not like trickster in that's for a different folklore sense.
But this is for a different podcast.
Yes.
Anyway,
we'll talk about that at some point. Get ready. Anyway, yeah. So that's my big onion about that episode. Okay. It's just I'm not too fan of the Akuma.
But it's your turn to talk.
Okay, my turn to mention an episode. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Okay, so I actually wanted to really talk about the Style Queen 3-parter. I feel like we should talk about Queen's Battle. So Queen's Battle is theoretically just a 2-parter, but it's really a 3-parter. It includes Style Queen, Queen Wasp, and Maledictator. And it all involves the mishaps of Chloe and being Queen Bee. We finally meet Chloe's mom.
Yes.
And she is a wasp. I'll put her like a bee. The wasp.
She's definitely a big bee.
She is a big bee. And so you can clearly tell that like Audrey, who is her mom, is definitely why Chloe is as bratty as she is, and that she tries to emulate her. She is absolute trash, and also Gabriel and her know each other. Which makes sense
because they're both designers.
Yes, and we also knew that too because there's an A bourgeois that is credited in the movie that we saw in Godzilla. So presumably she also knew her mom, Adrian's mom as well.
Yeah.
So they're like, which makes sense. We already knew that like Adrian and Chloe were really close friends as kids. So their families are like family friends. Anyway. So the Style Queen herself was a really interesting villain, and I think was actually one of the first designs that we knew of when they were promoting season 2. I remember seeing promotional images for Style Queen. So she is. We didn't know that it was her mom. Yeah. But like we knew there was just going to be this glitter villain. Uh-huh. So we found her, and yeah, she's really cool. I think she looks really interesting, and I do give credit to the animation because with that much glitter, that's not an easy effect to pull off. So I really liked that aspect, and we also, because of this episode, we get a little bit more insight into Chloe and how she is trying to she realizes that like her mom is kind of wrecking things, and she's trying her best. To set things right. And then, Ladybug gets to be Miraculous, and she's going to give it to Alia, but then she gets interrupted. And
because Alia gets glittered.
Yeah, she gets glittered. And then she gets the episode ends with the Miraculous falling around the stairs, and then Chloe finds it. Yeah. And we all know that that's going to be a good thing. And so basically, Queen Wasp is the second part, and it's, Chloe becomes a superhero Queen Bee and does it mostly to impress her parents, but then things go awry, and then Hawkmoth akumatizes her, and then now she's also a villain for the second time. So, Yay. Good stuff, good things. And I think that it was, and then we actually do, and so then the episode ends with her being, like, dehumanized, but I think the whole 3-part is really great because we actually see Chloe trying to fix her messes, especially Maledictator, I think, is definitely the strongest episode out of the 3 because you have her at first being really like, oh, look at me, I'm Queen Bee, I'm like cool and stuff, but then once Maledictator becomes a thing, she's like, she realizes that like, oh wait, I messed things up and I should fix it. And it's really cool how like Ladybug, her relationship with Ladybug is so different from her relationship with Marinette, and like she really looks up to Ladybug as a spiral role model, and I think it's really cool how Marina realizes this and uses it as a way to try and make Chloe a better person, or, show her to be a better person.
Yes.
And
yes.
I mean, and in the previous parts of the season, we have seen moments where she acts a little nicer. Like in Zombizu, which is another episode, she was one of the reasons why the akumatization happened, and then she sort of apologizes for the way she acts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's that. So I feel like the show is definitely trying to give her a little bit more of a redemption, which I hope that they follow through more in the later seasons, because I do think that her just being a standard stock bully character is a little boring, and I do want to see her be a little bit more different than that.
Yeah.
So I really like that 3-parter. What did you think of it?
That was really good.
Oh my god, I'm sorry I'm coughing, everyone. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of have a sore throat, so phlegm is a thing.
Yeah.
And it's very delicious. No, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that episode...
Yeah, but that was a very good episode. I'm still annoyed about Chloe being one of the miraculous
Okay, that wasn't a joke, but yeah.
Okay, that's the end of the podcast, everyone. Good night.
No.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, her being the queen bee, I can see why people would be a little mixed on it. She's not really a good person at this point. And while she has that, she's headed in that sort of trajectory in some ways. She's not really there yet, so yeah.
No, yeah. But on to another episode, Sandboy.
Sandboy. Why are we bringing that one up?
Because of the party, of the Kwame party.
Oh, yes! Yes! So this episode is one where we finally see all the other Kwame that are in that box.
Yep.
We actually, in the Arena Rouge episode, we did see the actual
pieces.
The actual duels, but we didn't actually know what Kwames were in there, and now we do. And they're all, I believe they're all based on the Chinese zodiac. So the 12 people from there.
Yeah.
And so they basically try to contact Nuru on his birthday, but things go south.
And they almost gets found out by Hawkmoth.
Yep. Yeah. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the most interesting.
Because it was the most Kwame.
That was definitely most Kwame centric, and hopefully will we see some of those Kwame in the future? Probably.
I still think that those Kwame are going to become the other classmates. They get tied with the other classmates.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah. Who being who is the question, but yeah. But
so the last episode, at least in singularity, that we'll talk about before we talk about other disparate elements, is the Heroes Day 2-parter finale, Catalyst and Mayura. This one's really cool, really interesting because, well, we knew earlier, I forget where we were introduced to the idea, but we know that Natalie, Gabriel's assistant and the person who schedules Adrian's stuff, is working with...
Is aware of Hawkmoth.
She's aware of Hawkmoth. She actively helps him, and she also knows why he's doing it too.
Yes.
So she's full in on the whole scheme.
Yes.
And this is part of a whole long con they've been doing up until this point. I think this is a really interesting episode because there's that other scene in at the end, I think, of the Queen of Style Queen, where I think it's implied that Gabriel gives up being Hawkmoth because, Style Queen failed and Audrey is such a capital B that, he hit the ceiling. How much further could he go? And so he kind of gives it up and then is actually seen in public for the first time and since his wife disappeared, basically. And then it's sort of implied that Natalie is really kind of wants, because we know they never say it, but we kind of get the implication that the reason why Hawkmoth is doing what he's doing is because he wants to resurrect. We don't really know if Emily's actually dead or if she's just in suspended like coma or whatever. It's not really specified or clarified, but we do know that she is out of commission and Hawkmoth wants her back.
Yep.
I don't think they ever say out. They ever say that in words, but it's pretty obvious that that's the case. And you also get the implication that Natalie, while she's supportive of Gabriel and his plans, she's not necessarily like really all that happy that he's so obsessive about his wife. Mm-hmm. Like when she
loves him too.
When he's like, I'm gonna be Hawkmoth again, she's like, oh come on, basically, and is like really upset about it. Which, I mean, fair. He is being a real pain.
But even if he is going out for it, she's still going to support him every step of the way.
Basically, yeah.
Which she does when she picks up the Peacock Miraculous.
Yes,
which is implied to maybe be why his wife is the way she is.
Yeah, so basically they do this whole plan, which involves Lila, who's back again. Mixed feelings on that, but she's back. She's angry. They use her to make a vision of Ladybug and Cat Noir fighting, and in which Cat Noir actually dies, on screen. She makes Ladybug use the cataclysm on himself, and then he disintegrates into dust. But it's a
full illusion.
It is a full illusion. It doesn't actually happen. But so now we actually kind of maybe know what it looks like. That we kind of know now that yes, you could actually theoretically kill someone with the cataclysm.
If you haven't seen, it's basically what Thanos did to everyone in Infinity War.
I'm not so wrong. Good, Ladybug.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No. So, yeah, and then basically what happens is, as part of their plan, Natalie gets akumatized as Catalyst, which is interesting because I think this might be the first time in which the akumatization is not, because of negative emotions, theoretically. It's just strong emotions, but it's more out of camaraderie than
he does specifically ask, "Hey, are you in the mental state for me to akumatize you?" And she's like, "I'm ready."
Yeah.
And she does, and then he specifically makes her into someone that can amplify superpowers. She amplifies his powers.
Turns him into Scarlet Moth, and then
to allow him to akumatize everyone that had been akumatized up to that point.
Not everyone, but most people.
Yeah.
A couple people avoided it, like Nora, aka Anansi, avoided it because she's like, I don't care, I'm brave. Yeah. So.
But a lot of them.
A lot of them, yeah. And so, basically, it's basically whole big fight. All our favorite heroes are here. All our favorite villains are here.
Oh, and then we get the other Miraculous holders.
Yep, all the ones we know previously are here.
And Alia and
Alia and Nino now know who each other are.
Yeah.
Although funny.
That was implied Alia was aware.
Yeah, she kind of figured it out.
Carapace.
Although it makes you wonder why she hasn't figured out that Marinette is Ladybug.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that happens.
Or maybe she thinks
they fight. I won't go into basically all the details of the fight, but basically at the very end of it,
they managed to stop Hawkmoth being the Scarlet Moth.
Yeah. By destroying
freeing everyone from that control.
And then this causes Natalie to go and get the Peacock Miraculous, which we knew was in her, which we knew was in Gabriel's possession, but we didn't know anything about it. And then she becomes Myra. And then basically she uses a feather. We don't know anything really about her powers, but she is able to make their emotion into a form of something, I guess. Create a physical manifestation of their despair in the case of Hawkmoth. And it turns into a big moth that blows them all away. And that's the first hint of Myra. And then we do learn after the fact that the Miraculous is contaminated / broken.
I think broken's the word he uses.
Something's wrong with it. We don't know what exactly, but basically it makes it so that it's a toll to use on the person who used it. And so then we can make the mental leap that perhaps the reason why Emily is in the state she is because she used a faulty Miraculous.
Yep.
Oh my god, my throat. Yeah, so that was really cool, and it leaves a lot of questions open, but it also introduces a lot of cool things and everything like that.
Yes.
So, cool stuff. So now we talked mostly about some of the episodes we liked. I actually kind of wanted to talk about a couple pointers that aren't really in individual episodes, but I thought would be interesting to bring up. And the two big ones are two characters that were introduced in the season, Kagami and Luca. Kagami was introduced in Riposte, and she is a fencing student. The big fencer chick, and
right, the one that like that Marinette was jealous of, and is like, I know what you feel for Adrian.
Yeah.
Either do it or I'm gonna take him.
Yeah. Basically, I think Kagami is being sort of posed as a love interest for Adrian. Kind of, but sort of not really. I don't know. It's really weird. Yeah. And then there's Luca, who is Julica's older brother, who was first introduced in Captain Hard Rock, and we saw him on Julica's family's houseboat. Because I guess they just kind of have it.
Yeah.
And that one is, I think it's really, so, and Luca is kind of like one of Marinette's other love interests aside from Adrian.
Yeah.
And he's like the brooding music type man.
Okay.
He has like wild cyan hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And both Frozer, one of the episode in which the ice powers happen, involves them going to the ice rink on a double date, kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those two, so I guess I want to ask you what you think of those two characters, because out of all the newer characters that were introduced this season, I feel like they're the most relevant / important.
Yeah, because also they never got akumatized.
No, they didn't. They have yet to be. No, that's not true. Kagami got akumatized. Luca has not gotten akumatized yet.
Yeah.
Although I wonder if that's just because he's so chill that he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Thoughts.
Future. But yeah, the big. Because I don't know, because we know it's gonna happen. Is this just extra tension to divert us from what's going to happen?
I don't know.
Is it just to like make that path more convoluted and turn back on itself and then go in and out and tie itself in knots?
Maybe.
Because we know it. We know. We know.
We know where this is headed, Zach Tunes. You can't confuse us or divert our attention.
No. I mean, I do like the conflicts the Kagami. I like the conflicts Kagami caused in both of them.
Yeah.
Luca, I'm not sure about.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Luca.
Yeah. So I am those two. So those two characters, I feel like if your theory is right about the school children being given Miraculouses, I have a feeling that they might also be in the running too as potential ones.
True.
Because they're being given a lot more screen time than some of the other classmates are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they also are potential other Miraculous users. You know, especially since like we've been seeing a lot more of them than some of the other characters in the show.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, my throat again. Yeah. So that's another thing I wanted to bring up because I thought it was really interesting. What any other things character wise you think would be interesting to talk about?
Okay. So is Chloe going to actually stay good, like become better, or is she going to just instantly revert after like the Spare Bear?
Well, I think the thing to consider that's now interesting and new is the fact that Lila has now been reintroduced as a potential new. Because like when Lila was first introduced back in season 1,
yeah,
I had a feeling I was like, well, if they're gonna try and redeem Chloe, then
Lila's
sort of replacing her with another catty person.
With someone that's worse. I hate Lila.
Lila is awful because she's actually kind of competent in some ways.
Yeah, she's competent.
And she's also potentially actively working on the villain's behalf. Like she willingly wants to be akumatized, unlike Chloe, who, while she's kind of a big B, she does get it. It's a pun too. Okay.
Yes.
Even though she is a B, she's not like she's gonna be. She at least is good enough of a person to recognize that being akumatized is a bad plan, Stan.
Yeah.
And even though she did get akumatized, like, she doesn't actively want to work with Hawkmoth, you know? Yeah. So, so there's that. And now, and like, for the rest of this whole season, she has not been in the show in any sense until the two-parter.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this means that she's gonna come back in a bigger way in the next season, which means that potentially Chloe's role as the class bully might be on a lesser role.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see what happens in that regard.
Indeed.
But I feel like now that Lila is a presence, that does give us more room for Chloe to become a little bit nicer.
Yes.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think of Lila? Oh, you just said you hate her.
I hate her.
No, do you think that she's...
It's because that they've given her so many chances to redeem herself, and she clearly does not want to.
Right.
They've given her the choice, but she doesn't want to be redeemed. She doesn't want to apologize and make amends.
No.
She wants to oppose them.
Right. Which is definitely new.
Yeah.
For this, so yeah. Okay, so is there anything else that we haven't mentioned yet that you wanted to bring up?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. So then in that case, we can talk about maybe some negative stuff, right? Have we finished with all the positives?
Yeah.
We have? Okay. So
I mean, you gave your one big onion.
My big onion, which was Anansi being not... Okay, but like even like I've always said, like, there's a difference between what you like to see and then what's there and if it's good. But I still feel like what's there isn't as good because, again, if you're going to make a reference like that to an actual like traditional folklore character, I feel like you should do a little bit more weightlifting in terms of actually pulling from it.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be like the equivalent of naming a character Thor, and instead of actually like making them kind of like Thor, you're just like, let's just make him a wrestler who throws a hammer sometimes, and you're just like...
Or he just like has shocking punches.
Yeah, in that case, you're just like, why even name him Thor at all? He doesn't... The only thing about him would be that he punches with thunder, with lightning. He has lightning powers. But like, then at that point, like, oh, you could just have... At that point, why not have him be Zeus too? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's how I feel about that. Yeah. So. Like,
I don't really have.
And like, it's stupid too because like Befana, which is another episode that we didn't really touch on or talk about, is also based on a character from folklore. And the Befana is kind of like an Italian legend of like an old lady who is like temperamental and like treats good children but punishes bad children or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's literally what Befana is. She's a grandma who's like, when she turns people good, or when she shoots people, she either turns them into coal if they're being bad or turns them into an angel if they're being good. So it directly plays into the story. So I just wish that they did that for Anansi.
Yeah.
It's like my big thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to think of other onions that I had. I really wish, like I said this last time, but for season 1, especially not season 2, but I kind of wish we get still a little more about Adrian. I feel like we're really not using him as much as we want to. Like, I understand this show is still focused on Marinette, but I really hope and really want for the series to kind of stretch itself and let Adrian be more of a 3-dimensional character in some regards. Like, the only thing that gives him 3 dimensions is that he's also Cat Noir. Yeah. Which is kind of sad. Like, I want some of his Cat Noir tendencies to bleed into him as Adrian. Yes. Because that is definitely who he is. Like, he is still Cat Noir. That is the person that he's like. So it's kind of upsetting that they still don't do that. And it's like... So that's another onion. Also, fix the stupid... Okay, so this is completely outside of the series itself.
Yeah.
But this is more just production-wise. This series had such a bad production schedule in terms of release dates. Release dates were scattered. They happened haphazardly. And because the release dates are really different across different countries, there was never really any consistency in worldwide releases, right? So trying to watch the season was really tough. And since, like, you know, since it's Netflix, you'd have to wait really long in order to get the series on Netflix if you're in the US. So it's just really weird. There's already other episodes of season 3 already out, even though official ZAG info had said that they were planning to start releasing in April.
Fun.
Like, they were going to wait until, like, the official premiere season for France to start releasing episodes, but, you know, I guess some countries are like, nope, we're going to release them anyway. So, yeah.
Yep.
It's really upsetting that that's a thing, and it's really frustrating on my behalf because it's kind of like I have to just check every week to see if there's news on it and when we're going to get episodes, and I don't know. So, again, if you aren't too interested if you want to try and look into things that are outside of Netflix and you want more info about when season 3 is premiering, I highly recommend the Miraculous Ladybug subreddit, as well as Miraculous Subs. They're really good sources on these kind of things, and they tend to collocate news from different sources on when things are releasing. Yeah. And if you're just looking into, like, release dates for official American release dates, I highly recommend you check out the official Miraculous Ladybug sources, because those will have accurate information for the most part. So that's my other big onion. And again, that's not really the series. It's just it just makes life difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from you, Michael?
No.
No?
No, I don't really have any onions.
Okay. All right. So then, last thing I guess is just, what do we want from season 3? What do we want to see in season 3?
The other Miraculi news.
Miraculi, yes. I think the proper pronunciation Miraculouses, but yeah, that doesn't really roll off the tongue as well as Miraculi. So I get you. Adrian
and Marinette to figure out who the hell they are.
Yeah, I really hope that that's a thing that happens.
But my thought, though, is would that revelation happen at the same time they figure out who Hawkmoth is? How separate could that be from, like, the whole series finale? That's the big thing on that. So if that were to happen next season, would that mean that the show's over?
No.
And also more of the powers.
Yeah.
Because we only got water and ice, and they're, like, pretty similar.
Yeah.
They're like variations.
Yeah, we do know. I don't know how many there are.
Water,
I think there's, like, at least 6, if not 5 or 6. I think there's, like, 7 maybe. I forget how
8?
many.
No, because I'm trying to remember, because there's the wheel that...
Oh, so maybe it is 8?
It might be 8.
Okay, so we have 8.
8 potential
powers. 8 potential powers that we have yet to see. And still
6
more,
potential.
Oh, 6 potential powers. And also the new Miraculous. And I'm assuming that
what
if
the new Miraculous were able to use the special powers?
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
That'd be so many outfits.
That would be too many outfits.
That'd be so many.
So many alternative outfits. I can't speak. Yeah. Do you have any theories on who might get what Miraculous or?
No, I don't. No? I don't know well enough.
Okay.
To figure that out. Oh, the other thing?
Mm-hmm. Or put it this way, even if you couldn't match anyone, do you have any idea of which characters would be in the lineup to get a Miraculous?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like, even if you couldn't be like, I know this one will be this one, you could be like, oh, well, they're probably going to get a Miraculous at some point. Like, I think that Luca and Kagami are probably pretty likely. Because, if only because out of all of the supporting characters, they've gotten a lot of screen time, and they've been... Yeah. If they're love interests for the main characters, that seems like a good reason to give them Miraculi.
Yes.
Do you think Lila would, like, get one the same way Chloe did?
No, screw that. Lila, I'd rather see Lila die.
Oh, no. Wow. Dang.
Like, she's just so friggin' unrepentant.
She is unrepentant. Although, yeah, I do think that maybe, well, it would be interesting to see, like, another Miraculous get out of Masterfoo's hands and become, like...
Yeah.
And she became, like, a villain and she kept it or something.
Technically, Lila did that already since she was based
fair.
on the Fox Miraculous.
Right.
Is Rena Rouge.
Yes, that's fair.
I think... how many other kids are in the class?
12 maybe.
Because that's the perfect amount.
Right, I know. So there's probably going to be some classmates. If Luca and Kagami are getting Miraculouses, they're probably at least two or a couple of classmates are probably not going to get them.
Rose and her girlfriend better get Miraculous.
I love how you're just like, and her girlfriend, Julika?
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name. I'm sorry, Julika's a weird name.
Julika is a weird name. I think Rose and Julika are probably... I think that inner circle that...
oh, yeah, the girls.
The girls that...
when they were trying to help...
That Marinette spends a lot of time with are probably, like, really... are likely, like, Alex. Alex is also a pretty big candidate because she is actively really brave and actually tries to help. And,
yes.
And so that seems to be, like, a good choice. And then I also see Rose, Julika, and maybe also Milen, too. You know who I'm talking about, Milen?
Milen?
She's the shy one.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Dating the guy with the skull crossbones on his... Yeah.
I also think the tech guy.
Max. Yeah, Max could also be in the lineup to get a Miraculous too.
So, if Chloe is, Sabrina would potentially be likely.
Yeah, potentially.
But there better be a goddamn arc for that.
Oh yeah.
For that, like, because Sabrina's kind of messed up because of
Sabrina's
Chloe.
just kind of a doormat. Like,
yeah.
Like she just absolutely cannot stand up for herself in any case. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say that, pretty much every classmate kind of has the ability to get, to be, I think probably least likely is Lila, obviously. And then, potentially Nathaniel, because we haven't seen all that much of Nathaniel. There's only been one episode that really focuses on him.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I know Kim is probably also in the lineup because he specifically has said, I really want to be a superhero. So, like, they could probably cash in that foreshadowing at some point, too.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We will see how that shakes out.
We will see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You got another speculative thoughts?
Well, I'm trying to think. Oh, speculation on other potential people to be akumatized. I'm trying to think if there's any obvious candidates. I mean, Luca, we haven't seen akumatized yet, so potentially he could be. But as I said before, he is really chill, so it might be a case of he's just really unlikely to be akumatized.
I think at this point, most people that would get akumatized are either going to get re-akumatized,
there's also that,
or going to be new people that we haven't met.
There's also, I think the ones off the top of my head that I can think of that haven't been akumatized yet are Alec, the dude from the TV show, the host guy. What?
Marinette's parents.
Yeah, they haven't, yeah, and they are very good candidates too. We haven't seen them be akumatized. We know that Nino has a family, and I don't think any of his family members have been akumatized yet either.
Correct.
So if there's a way for us to bring him into the picture, we could do that. Or they could do that, I should say. Yes. Alia's mom hasn't been akumatized yet. She is the chef at the Grand Prix Hotel.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen her. We know also that Marinette has an extended family too outside of her mom and dad. So if they ever come by, then we could, like how her grandma got akumatized. So like someone from, her mom's side of the family could get akumatized too, like her uncle, her great uncle, I should say. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other people who might be akumatized who haven't been yet. But yeah, a lot of the major supporting cast that we've had in the show have already been akumatized. Even the ice cream guy.
Yep.
Like pretty much everyone who hadn't been akumatized yet by the time season one ended has been already akumatized.
Yes.
But there are still a couple characters that we've seen here and there.
Wait, did the photographer ever get akumatized?
No, not the photographer. So that's also a candidate too. The spaghetti guy. The very Italian photographer.
Oh, yes.
In Adrian's photo shoots, yeah. Yeah, no, he hasn't been akumatized yet, so that's also a potential candidate, too. The police... Roger has an officer. I forgot about Roger Cop. Yeah, he got akumatized. Yeah, that's Sabrina's dad. He got akumatized.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty... So there are a handful. But yeah, I have a feeling that most of the ones we'll be seeing in the future are probably either going to be characters who have been previously akumatized. They'll be re-akumatized either as different... Because we also don't really know if it's possible for people to have... Well, we do know, actually, because...
Well, season 3.
Because season 2, when...
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee got akumatized as Queen Wasp. So, theoretically, people could take different forms. I'm imagining they can take new forms. But we could either potentially see the same villains again, or the same people only re-akumatized into a different form.
Yeah.
So. Oh, another one, Prince Ali. We've only seen him in one episode, but he has been mentioned.
Yeah.
So, if he comes by and is he could be akumatized.
He could be.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty much. So yeah, those are my suspects for who could be akumatized that we already know about.
That seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any lore bits from you that you want to know about? Because you're the lore guy.
No, yeah. I mean, we got a substantial amount. I'm trying to just think about what we don't know that I want to know.
Well, we don't know specifically what happened to the Order of the Miraculous.
True.
We know that it was something to do with Master Fu, and that it happened a really long time ago, but we don't know exactly. He definitely blames himself. Now, whether or not that's accurate, if he actually did anything, or if it's just him blaming himself, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we do know that he did witness it. We just don't know what happened.
Yes.
And we also know that whatever happened, that the Peacock Miraculous and the Moth Miraculous, Butterfly. It's just Butterfly. It's not Moth. It's Butterfly. Butterfly Miraculous were left behind. Yeah. So, I guess we'll find out what happens. Yes. Do you have any theories about what happened? It's very vague. We really
super vague. I have
really
no
don't know.
clue.
Anything could be possible because we also
super
we also don't
super vague.
We also don't know exactly what kind of forces are out there that would be willing to destroy the Miraculous Order. So, you know.
No, yeah.
Who knows?
The writers do.
I mean, yes.
They better.
But we don't know. The audience doesn't know. There's really not a lot of evidence to sort of craft a theory about what might happen from that perspective.
Agreed. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another question, though. Do you think Mayer is going to show up in season 3? Okay.
Yes.
Now,
how frequently is the question? There's probably the multi-part episodes.
Probably, yeah. She's probably not going to be as big of a... Because I thought initially when they were hyping up the fact that... I remember seeing the promotional material was talking about how Hawkmoth would get a sidekick. Or not a sidekick, but another supervillain was going to come about. And that was revealed to be Maira. But the way they were talking about her, it sounded like that she was going to be a bigger threat. Or at least, definitely a big part of the series. So... Yeah. But if it's gonna hurt her, I don't know how long they can, they've kind of restricted her role in some cases unless she something happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So that's a good note. Are you good with that speculation? Yeah. Anything else?
No, nothing.
All right. So last thoughts before we sign off about season 2 of Miraculous Ladybug.
That was a good season.
Yeah, I think it definitely is taking places. I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of a continuity going on. There definitely doesn't seem to be as much character development as we would like to see in shows like this, but it's not staying in the same place. Yes. There's definitely changes happening by the end of the season and the beginning of the season, so it's slow, but it's happening. Yeah. So
Yes.
Let's just hope that we see some major developments in season 3. I'm hoping. Please make it happen.
Yes,
Zachtunes, we
please.
want it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, but that's all from us.
Yep.
So let's say, where can people find you?
You can find me, hopefully not coughing, at Twitter on Twitter at The Rational Dev. Feel free to talk to me about whatever.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, you should like, share, subscribe to, well, you should subscribe to this channel, SoundJack426, and you should also like and share and comment on the video if you enjoyed it. You can also support me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description down below. And with all that said, thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack and Alyssa signing off.